Welcome back to another exciting matchup of Guns of Icarus Online. This is the Iron Fork for January 24th, 2014. Game 3, Battle on the Dunes. I'm joined by the captain himself, James Tiberius Kirk. How are you, sir?
I am doing perfectly well, and yourself?
Good. You are the leader of Cake. Tell us about the Iron Fork quickly.
It's a little event every Friday, 4 p.m. EST. I believe that's 11 a.m. GMT. No, that is wrong. It is at, it's +5, so it's 9 p.m. GMT for all of you internationally GMT people. Basically, we just get a bunch of people together, we fill up as many cakes as we can first in a crew formation, then we bring it up into public lobby. Anyone is welcome to jump in. As you can see, we've got players of all levels, all ranks, from clans, from outside of clans, just coming in and having generally a good time. Matches range from, insanely competitive to absolutely meta-pushing all flamers, ramming harpoons. Whatever we end up feeling like doing, whatever the mood of the lobby is whatever the games stick through. There are no rules unless we decide to put them in.
Going over the ships now, we have, first off, Love's Helix, piloted by Master Queen Chrysalis. We have a flat cannon, a heavy flat cannon. We have a couple Artemis and a field gun, a Mercury field gun. On the Devil's Food, piloted by Xander Broda, we have a couple heavy flaks, a couple carronades, a Hades, and I believe that is a flare gun on the back. And on the Derp, piloted by Navigator Super, we have a Hwacha, Lumberjack, Hwacha, and Carronade, as well as a Hades and an Artemis. Go ahead and tell us about the blue ships.
The blue ships this evening are the Saphira, which has a double Carronade side, a double Hwacha side, and a single Mercury with an Artemis on the back. The Goldfish, which is a Blenderfish with a Gat Flamer accompaniment. And the Having a Blast, which has a Lumberjack Hwacha side, and a Gat Hwacha Carronade side, and a beautiful little Phobos on the back.
There we go. Fighting has already begun, and Red Team has already scored their first point against the Blue Team. Saphira and Having a Blast are now solo together. They're solo together. That makes perfect sense.
Together alone.
Together alone.
And Goldfish made while we were calling out ships, made a little bit of a charge in the front and definitely paid for it for those double galleon sniper sides. It's really interesting to see Blue Team hanging back because they had a lot more ranged weapons. Of course, as I say that, here comes the Saphira sneaking through the clouds, coming up to try to sneak up on the Devil's Food. Watch out in the balloon.
I didn't think. Did a lot of those hit? I
they
felt
hit.
Like some of those missed.
I saw the second half of it go into the balloon, getting burst rounds out, but Saphira's out of. Oh, heavy flax coming in.
Saphira's losing a lot of hull very quickly. Focus fire from the Derp, Love's Helix, and Devil's Food. Saphira is not going to survive this.
They're done. Oh, wow, those Hades went way in front, and that gives them enough time to get their hull back up. All they can really do at this point, though, is stall for time, try to sneak back into that cloud if they can. They've got a couple guns, but they're at a huge repair disadvantage with very little permahull in that galleon.
That's just not going to work out too well in their favor. Right now, you have 2 galleons and the Spire against anything you throw at it.
Oh yes, no matter what you do, you have got 5 heavy weapons pointed at you in, the best scenario for the red team, which
Saphira is continuing to take a lot of hull damage. They're to nothing but a scrap of permahull left. Having a Blast swings around though, gets some shots up on the Devil's Food, but nasty Hwacha Blast from the Derp. As long with those Hades shots too, and Having a Blast looks like it might be descending a little too quickly for its liking. Their balloon does go down. They might just tap ground here.
Saphira is attempting to give in supportive Hwacha shots, but of course they just fly back us in the distance, and we see similar thing happen from the Having a Blast. Both ships are just too low. I don't know where the Goldfish is. I mean, he's got a blender. He should be in here really, chopping people up and bringing them on the ground, but
Goldfish is swinging up behind the Derp, but they're shooting gat fire about 50 billion miles too far away from the Derp to even consider being effective.
Oh, Having a Blast just got hit really hard from, I believe that was a heavy flat because they lost a lot of hull really quickly.
They did. Saphira is still hanging on, though. I am impressed that the Saphira hung on as long as they did.
It is maybe shouldn't have mentioned anything because there they go. I believe
I broke their luck. I'm sorry.
Saphira was who we saw last week taking it up. Ouch. And there go both gallons. If the goldfish was smart, he would just sit in that cloud and ride it wherever it was going. That is not against those 5 heavy weapons that the red team is now pointing directly at him.
We got to see that flag shot from Love's Helix just gently sail into that galleon and make it shred itself to pieces. Beautiful shot from Love's Helix.
And looks like Goldfish is not taking my advice, and he looks like he continues to charge forward right on that Love's Helix.
We'll hold up right behind the Goldfish. See all those shots surrounding our camera. Goldfish losing a lot of hull. Their perma-hull is below half now. In a matter of moments, Goldfish has gone from full repair to almost nothing. They are losing hull points faster than they could even possibly repair it. All their guns are down. Gone.
Wow. That was absolutely... They made it. Credit to them. They made it almost to the Love's Helix. But, I mean, there was just so little that you could do with, geez. I mean, you got the Hades, which is probably one of the strongest piercing weapons in the game. And then a couple heavy flaks, which are most definitely the strongest explosive weapon in the game. Shot per shot.
When you have to say you are impressed that they almost made it into firing range, they probably weren't doing the most intelligent thing in the world.
And props to the engineers for having a blast. Was sailing into the cloud, but the cloud has quickly abandoned them, and they are smartly backing up here as Hades are bursting in front of them, and heavy flaks are largely ineffective.
Coming into a better view of the having a blast. Ouch! Nasty shots. Watch is coming in, but extremely ineffective at this range.
Pretty.
Yeah, great fireworks, but not actually good for active shots right now. They did not load heavy clip into those watches, and as such, they just sailed all around the having a blast.
Well, a lot of times, when you got a Hwacha and you need to put a round in it, and you've already been spotted, and sometimes it's better to shoot it off and maybe hope for a couple lucky rockets.
Instead of sitting and waiting for the reload time to go through?
Yeah, I mean, because it takes 2 seconds to empty the clip, and then, you got another 14 seconds of waiting, so, yeah. Similar aspect with mines. If you need to load a new ammo, just go ahead and shoot the mine you got out now and flip it in between reloads. Takes, very little time to empty the clip, and you might as well throw the one out there just in case.
Mines have been continually spotlighted here on the Iron Fork. Not just last week, but this week as well. Unfortunately, for Brick Hardcastle and his folks that he had coming in, he took a lot of his own mine shots in one of the first matches of this afternoon's event. Very tough to deal with when you're hitting your own mines. You just forget where they were.
Oh man, and I mentioned this last week. They're so small and they're so easy to miss. I mean, they look hard. They look large when they're juxtaposed against other ships, but when you're at that wheel and there's so many other things going through your head, it's so easy to miss the little ball on the little balloon.
It's great practice, by the way. Gunners, if you want good active practice of hitting a target, get in a Lumberjack, get in a Hades, and try to snipe out mines.
Oh yes. Yeah, set up your own target dummies, and yeah, I mean that'll if you can nail a mine from a couple hundred meters away, maybe even a couple thousand meters away, depending on what you're using.
Yep.
You'll be able to hit a spire. No problem.
Yeah, that's how I practiced on the Lumberjack at Hades.
Still can't shoot either of those guns.
They're so much fun. Favorite gun in the game, Hades. Still, Goldfish is charging the line again.
Holy crap! And
oh my god.
Devil's food. Once again, we saw him last week, bringing more or less the same build, with that Hades double flak, and we were not seeing it using because his engineer could not get on that Hades because it was doing too much repair work. Now that the red team is sitting high and pretty, ooh, a good Hwacha out on the dirt, but, just sets a couple guns on fire, doesn't take anything down. But anyway, as I was saying, Xander now
Wait a second, now, Love's Helix has lost their outer hull.
Well, to what?
I don't know! When did this happen?
Is there a new pilot tool introduced that, makes your ship 20% prettier, but at the cost of all of your armor? I don't know. Saphira is sitting very
It's called
low.
the Rainbow Dash Amulet. It makes your ship 20% cooler, but breaks your hull.
At the expense of all of your whole armor.
Yeah. I had to throw that in.
And as soon as I said 20%, I was like, oh, someone on the stream is or someone watching this is gonna insert Rainbow Dash, and little did I know my co-caster was gonna be the one who inserted that one.
Yeah, sorry, I kind of gave myself away there. Having a Blast is now in a 3v1 scenario against these long-range ships. It's going to have to hide back in the ribs as best it can. Swinging around here, we're going to see exactly how well it is done so. Oh, good cover so far.
Yeah, they're using these ribs to approach, which is, really good, because there's...
Oh, Love's Helix is really good arc on them, at least for a few moments. I'm surprised we did not see the Having a Blast balloon go down completely.
I mean, I think they're trying to sneak up on the Love's Helix, or at least, get the jump on them. They're doing a really good job sneaking through these ribs. It's one of the very few hardcover elements you have on this map, and something that you can go through. This map is hugely open, and
Having a Blast is about to unleash on the Love's Helix. Oh, but a tar barrel!
Hey, I thought it was doing, gosh, I had the movie 2 seconds ago. Scots versus Brits, and they all show their asses to the.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
God, I'm trying to make a clever reference to a popular movie, and it's completely lost me now. Anyway, if you know what I'm talking about, good on you. The Love's Helix is laid a nice.
Oh, we just see this immense barrage coming out towards Having a Blast. Not a lot of fire landing, though. Those Hades shots, unfortunately, very inaccurate right now.
Well, the Devil's Food and the Derp are flying around the Tar of Cloud so they can get clear lines of sights, and the acceleration of the ship will throw your gunner's arcs off balance, which is something for the the Hades, which you really get used to aiming where and how.
That's true. Again, another good. Having a Blast, taking a lot of fire. All of a sudden, the Devil's Food and Derp have got him locked down. There it goes.
That was a 7-0, I believe. That was. That was a sniper team who set themselves up and, really just shut down the other team as they, gave it their darndest to come in, but they just were not able to break the line.
Absolutely. Congratulations to Sailing Master Queen Chrysalis, Navigator Xander Broda, and Junior Navigator Super. They get the win over the blue team of Navigator Fox,
Braveheart. That's the movie.
Braveheart. Oh, okay. Navigator Blink Neil. Thank you so much for joining us today, James Tiberius Kirk. We're going to have you on again for next week.
All right. See you folks next week.
You've been watching youtube.com/The Rob and Dan Show.